Hello, this is the Death Row and Executions channel. I'm Paco Rivera. You can also follow me on Facebook for updates and more Death Row news. You can find a link to my Facebook in the description below. Also, check out my other channel here on YouTube called The Maximum Sentence, where I cover recent crimes and convictions and a maximum penalty handed down. There will be a link for that as well. On February 7th, just a couple weeks ago, the state of South Carolina announced an execution date for 67-year-old Brad Keith Sigmon, an execution to take place in exactly 1 month, on March 7th. It must be a bit of a shocker for the death row inmate to learn that he has just 1 month to live after being on death row about 23 years. At age 19, Brad Sigmon was still in high school, but he dropped out to get married. He and his wife, a woman named Sherry Nance, later had a son. Throughout his life, Sigmon had struggled with drug use problems. He eventually separated from the woman that he married, and sometime in the late 1990s, he met a 40-year-old woman named Rebecca Barbary, who was a single mother with 3 children. At some point, Sigmon and Rebecca began living together in a trailer home that was near Rebecca's parents' house in Taylors, South Carolina, in Greenville County. As a matter of fact, the trailer home was right on the property that belonged to Rebecca's parents. However, after about 3 years living together, Rebecca ended the relationship and moved back in with her parents, which was kind of like right next door. And the family had also agreed to serve Sigmon with an eviction order to get him off the property. He was given 2 weeks to move out. But Sigmon had a hard time moving on with his life. He was obsessed with Rebecca. He was stalking her to see if she had met another man. And he kept trying to rekindle the relationship by begging her to come back to him. About a month after the breakup, on April 26, 2001, a Thursday, Sigmon and a friend named Eugene Strube had spent most of the night drinking alcohol and doing cocaine. At some point during the night, Sigmon told Strube that in the morning, when Rebecca takes her kids to school, he is going to their house and tie up Rebecca's parents and then get a hold of Rebecca when she gets back home. According to the friend, Eugene, that's exactly the term Sigmon used, get a hold of her. Eugene Strube later said that he was supposed to accompany Sigmon that morning when that happened, but he later backed out and didn't go. In the morning, now Friday, April 27th, 2001, Sigmon, carrying a baseball bat, made his way into the home and found 62-year-old William David Larke in the kitchen and beat him repeatedly with the bat. He then found David's wife, 59-year-old Gladys Larke, in the living room and repeatedly struck her in the head with the bat. He went back and forth several times from the kitchen to the living room and back to the kitchen to continue the beatings until both their skulls were crushed and were both dead. After that, he got a hold of David Larke's gun and held on to it, waiting for Rebecca to return home. As soon as Rebecca reached the front porch, after coming back from dropping off the kids at school, Sigmon forced her to get in her car at gunpoint and ordered her to drive him to his car. Remember, the trailer home where he lived was very near the Larke's home, so I guess he walked there in the morning to commit the murders. While in the car, Brad Sigmon told Rebecca that he had just killed her parents. Sigmon and Rebecca ended up driving several miles, so I'm not sure where he was going. Sigmon's plan was to get Rebecca into his car and then drive to North Carolina. But Rebecca managed to quickly jump out of her car while it was still moving, and she took off running. Sigmon got out of the car and took several shots at her with the gun. Rebecca was struck once in the foot and she fell, but got back up quickly and continued running and managed to escape. The driver of another car passing by had picked up Rebecca and offered help. Brad Sigmon got back in Rebecca's car and fled. The driver that stopped to help Rebecca called 911 from a nearby gas station. Rebecca was later treated at Greenville Memorial Hospital and released. The manhunt for Brad Sigmon began, and about 10 days after the murders, he was captured in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. It was actually Brad Sigmon's mother that helped authorities to locate him. He was later extradited back to South Carolina. A little over a year after the murders and kidnapping, in July of the year 2002, Brad Sigmon was found guilty and sentenced to death. At trial, Sigmon did not challenge the charges, and he admitted his guilt to the jury. He also received a 30-year sentence on top of the 2 death sentences for burglary. I suppose for the gun that he stole from the home. This is pretty much an open and shut case, so I don't have a lot more details about it. Unfortunately, I searched, but I could not find any photos of the murder victims. I did find some Facebook photos of the survivor in this case, Rebecca Barbary, but would rather not use any without her permission. The only bits of information I saw about David and Gladys Larke is from a newspaper clipping that tells of how the retired couple enjoyed spending sunny afternoons sitting on a swing on their front porch. According to the report, Gladys did a lot of reading and enjoyed collecting antiques. Please go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that you're alerted when the next video comes out. You can also follow me on Facebook for updates and more. There will be a link to my Facebook in the description below. My name is Paco Rivera. Take care and bye for now.